What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady with a little bonus story from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called, Excuse Me, Hey You! Don't you work here? I've never made a Reddit account before and have just anonymously read posts. But this happened recently and I finally have something interesting to share. Here's the cast. Entitled Dad.
Entitled Brat.
For context, I'm trans, female to male, and have just recently come out to my family. Before this, my clothes were tomboyish, but I never dared to buy something from the boys section for fear of what people might think. I cut my hair a few months back, and I think I passed pretty well. This story happens in a clothes store, where I'm finally able to buy clothes from the boys section. If you know me, you know I hate clothes shopping and just shopping in general, so I plan to get in and out of there as quickly as possible. The uniform here is a gray polo shirt, black trousers, and smart black shoes. I'm wearing a camo hoodie with black joggers and dirty black trainers, looking nothing like an employee and evidently not an adult. Going up the escalator, I notice that there are two people in the section I'm about to go into, Entitled Dad and Entitled Brat. As someone with social anxiety, having people there makes me anxious, but I remind myself that they are just here to shop and will just mind their own business, or so I thought. Entitled Dad talking to Entitled Brat, "What size are you? You need this shirt."
How am I supposed to know? I just want to get out of here and go to McDonald's.
"You have to know." He takes several sizes from the rack. "We're going to the changing room and you're trying these on." They leave, I hope for good. I take a good look at the racks and find a shirt that I like and some shorts. I measure the shirt up against me, trying to find a size that fits. I see them come back, but just ignore them, as I'm not in anyone's way and I don't want to deal with entitled people today. Entitled Dad frustratedly shoves the shirts back and in a raised tone says, "Excuse me, girl." I doubt he's talking to me since I'm not a girl, and I obviously don't work here. He's probably just harassing some poor employee. Little did I know, I was the poor employee. Louder, he says, "Hey you, do you work here?" I again ignore him, since I do not work here. Entitled Brat runs over to me and grabs my arm. I obviously remove my arm, not wanting Entitled Brat germs on me. Entitled Brat glares at me.
You work here, so do your job and help us.
I freeze and just stare at them. "Are you even listening to me? Are you deaf? I don't get why they hire people like you." "I'm sorry, but I don't work here, and no, I'm not deaf." Entitled's dad face changes a little into a sort of, "Oh, crap," expression, but still continues. "Well, if you don't work here, why are you in the boys section?" I was confused for a second, but then it hit me. My heart sank and I felt like crap. I am a boy and am too young to work here. I'm just a customer, but I can help you find an employee to help you. He stares at me for a second, looking me up and down. Then, without apology, walks off with his son. Safe to say I got out of there as fast as I could and felt uncomfortable and dysphoric for the rest of the day, but still found a nice shirt, which I guess is a bonus. Okay, that was one jerk of a father and one brat of a brat. I can definitely understand, any sense of discomfort after that, because, why wouldn't you feel uncomfortable? So yeah, I feel really bad for our Redditor here. That's not cool. Let me know in the comments below if you've encountered anything similar, if you happen to be trans or not, I'm just curious. This story's called a Creep Because I Don't Work at the School I Work At. Apologies if this is the incorrect place to post this. I'm also on mobile, so please forgive me. So I work as an IT consultant under a long-term contract for a school, thus making me not an employee. I've been working at this school for many months now, so all the staff and a few parents know me. None of the regularly employed staff require uniforms or have any identification except being on the website staff list, which I am not a part of. Tuesday of this week, I'm walking back onto the school grounds after getting some food a good hour after school got out when one of the parents I saw earlier beelines towards me from the parking lot. Here's the cast. There's me,
Parrot B.
awesome office person.
I've seen you around here creeping on the kids. You need to go away before I report you to the staff and the police.
I'm caught really off guard because I almost never interact with parents except through mail or the occasional one chatting with other staff. Sorry, I actually work here.
I've looked at the website list and you aren't anywhere on there. I've even spoken to other parents and they're concerned for their kids' safety. You need to leave right now before I call the police.
Look, we can go into the office and talk to A, B, or possibly C if she's still in.
Yeah, then they can call the police themselves and you won't be able to run.
Okay, don't follow the logic with that one. Regardless, we walk over into the office. Luckily, someone is still working the front office. The lady is about to speak, but I immediately chime in and say, "Hey B, can you please verify that I work here as IT support?" B, really confused, says, "Yes, he works here. He's been here for a couple months now."
Then why isn't he on the website? And why doesn't he have a badge?
Well, we didn't feel like a badge was necessary as everyone here knows him and he was introduced at the school assembly.
Then send out an email to all the parents because many of us have been concerned.
Do you actually think we would just let some random guy walk onto our campus like that? You're fine, you can go. To me. I left while they were still talking because I had a lot of work to do. I can see where much of the confusion was, and I'm not offended, but considering there are dozens of parents and staff unmarked on campus a day, also the fact that no person is initially allowed on campus without first verifying their identity at least once. Me showing up many times should have been a hint. Okay guys, don't rag on me like you like to do, okay? I feel like this one is understandable, okay? She was concerned for their children. Obviously, there was a lapse in judgment, but you know what? At least she actually agreed to verify with the office. This is not as bad as it could have been, okay? Am I crazy? I think I'm rational here. This story's called I Don't Work Here Anymore. So this happened a few months ago, and my friend said I should post it when I was telling the story the other day. I used to work at a large bargain chain in the UK. I hated it. I liked the people I worked with and a few of the managers, but the company and the majority of the customers were and are awful. The pay was rubbish and the way the company treated us was just crap. But I needed the job as you know, I like to eat and pay my bills. So I stuck it out for a few years while applying for other jobs. And finally the gods saw fit to get me a better job out of retail. I've been working at my new job over a year now, but I still go into my old work because A, I like to catch up with people I like who still work there, and B, I love a good bargain. Now onto the story. I was pushing my trolley around, just browsing shelves when I hear a cough behind me. I ignore it and continue on my way. Then I hear an "excuse me." I continue to ignore it as it's not a voice I recognize and it's nothing to do with me. Then the sharp tap on the shoulder and a louder "excuse me." I turn around and see a former regular customer. She was always a nightmare and was one of the many reasons I was glad to get out of retail. Here's the cast.
Nightmare customer?
Me, former manager. I beg your pardon?
Don't think you can ignore me. I want you to get me XXX.
Sorry, I don't work here.
Yes, you do. I've seen you behind the tills. You served me last week.
No, I didn't. I used to work here, but I haven't in nearly a year. So, I don't work here. Get someone else to help you.
Well, you're here now, so you can help me.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
I don't work here? Now, kindly urinate off and let me finish my shopping.
You can't talk to me like that. I'll have you sacked. Where's your manager?
No flippin' idea. And I walked off while she was screeching like a banshee and I finished my shop. I get to the tills and I'm loading my shopping onto the belt, chatting to my former manager when she comes charging over and starts yelling.
You!
Points at former manager. I want her sacked. Points at me.
She was rude and swore at me.
Sorry, madam. I can't fire her. She doesn't work here.
Don't you lie to me. I know she works here.
No, she doesn't. She used to, but left for another job.
Shut up! She swore at me and was rude, so you need to sack her.
I can't sack her. She's a customer. I don't work here.
This is ridiculous. I want the manager.
I am the manager, and she does not work here. Nope. I'm free. I'm free. And I'm also leaving. Bye, former manager. Bye, OP. Let me tell you something, guys. There's almost nothing better than going back to a former place of work when you don't work there, or just going there on your day off and just reveling in the fact that your responsibilities there are no more. Unless, you're on your day off and you have to come back, the next day you're working, but still, a former source of stress and strain is now a source of pleasure, I guess, as much as a store can give you pleasure. This story's called, "A Karen yelled at me for not doing my job at a place I don't work at, then accuses me for stealing food from my actual job." This is my first Reddit, so I'll try to give some background. I worked at a mall food court restaurant for a little over 2 years. I knew most people who worked in that mall from the other stores. Our food place had a special system where we delivered paid food to other employees around the mall so they don't need to waste their break time going all the way to the food court for food. I was delivery coordinator for busy days, so it was my job to check, organize, and send out the deliveries with the runners, about 3 to 4 of them. But during the holidays, we run out of runners and I had to go make a quick delivery. I am used to being mistaken for an employee. I wear a uniform with a name tag that looks similar to what you would expect out of a JCPenney and a Macy's, even though they don't really wear uniforms. I'm headed to the store's break room to drop off the food before I'm stopped by the Karen of this story. It's the holidays, I've been there for 8 hours already coordinating 15-year-olds and was in a hurry to get back. I'm a good employee. "Excuse me, I'm in a hurry and need to be helped." "I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't work here, but the service desk is right there if you need to be assisted," I replied, polite as usual. "That's a big lie. If you don't work here, why are you in uniform?" "I'm currently on the clock and need to get this food to the guests before it gets cold." "Eating on the clock," she yelled like she didn't hear what I said. "It's not for me, ma'am, and I am sorry for the confusion." "I want your manager," she yelled. Thankfully, the buyer of the order heard the commotion and came out to see what was going on. And lo and behold, the buyer was the manager. "Manager, this employee has been refusing me service and I demand they be written up." By this point, I'm tapping my foot impatiently. I get very nervous when I'm late, as we can have about 60 deliveries per hour during the holidays. The manager sees my look and understands what's going on. "She doesn't work here. She works in the food court and has brought me my food for my break. The service desk has the manager currently working." The Karen was silent, and I gave a bow and dismissed myself from the situation. Sadly, Karen followed me. And like usual, no one took over coordinating the orders, so the runners were just standing there waiting to be sent out for delivery. So I immediately get back to work and start sending the kids on deliveries and ask them to be quick because we fell behind. Right as I was explaining to my manager what happened, Karen shows up demanding that I be fired for stealing food to give to my friend and roaming around while I'm on the clock. I gave my manager "that's her" look, and he sighed and explained the situation to her. She continued to complain and everything was falling behind until I had an idea. I gave an expired promo card for a free item to my manager to give to her, and dished out the usual apologies until she left with her expired card. "Did you really just give her a free meal?" "Nope. Never feed a bear. They'll always come back." Oh my goodness, what is with Karens deliberately trying to get someone in trouble for literally just doing their job? Redditor, guy, man, lady, sir, dude, bro. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Honestly, just reading that, I got exasperated. This story's called, "Today I Fudged Up by Swiping Right." Let me just start off with the obligatory, this happened a couple of months ago. Now that I've got that out of the way, let me paint you a picture of one of the most shameful moments of my adult life. I'm a 21-year-old dude. I haven't been in a relationship for about 3 years, and I decide to give dating apps a try. No harm in it, since the worst that happens is it kills my already low self-esteem. So I download multiple apps, since I'm a floozy, and start swiping away. Now note that this is almost summertime in a highly touristy city in the US. So when I come across a profile of a young woman who just seems a bit different, I just assume that they're a tourist. Typically, they'll mention that they're only in my city for a few days or weeks, so it makes them easy to spot. Another thing to note is that during this past summer, there was a trend on Snapchat where you could take a picture of yourself and make it look old, young, or the opposite gender. You can probably already see where I'm going with this, and I feel so stupid just thinking about it. Anyway, so I'm combing those 2 pieces of information. I come across a girl who seems pretty cool. She looks nice, but kinda different. But she says in her profile that she's from Sweden or someplace like that, and is only in my city for 2 more weeks. I almost didn't swipe on her because I'm not the hook up and peace out kind of guy. But my brain decided to take the back seat while my schlong did the driving. So I swiped right on her. We matched a few hours later and we start talking. We hit it off really well and I was surprised how much she and I had in common. I was cautiously optimistic as it seemed to be going just a little too well. I don't like to get my hopes up too much just for them to come crashing down later on. So I ask her on a date and she says yes. Nice. The fated day comes around and I'm looking fly as hell. My hair looks good, I'm rocking the fit, I smell nice, things couldn't be any better. So I get there a little early to the restaurant where we're gonna have lunch and text her to let her know that I'm there. She says cool and that she'll be there in a few minutes. So I wait and wait and wait some more. I think it had been about 15 minutes or so and I'm starting to get worried. I'm re-evaluating all my choices that led up to this moment when someone comes walking in through the door and looks around before making eye contact with me, turning beet red. This dude, about my age, maybe a bit younger, walks up to me and says, "Are you?" My heart is pounding already since I'm nervous about the date. And I just remember feeling it sink to the pit of my stomach. I go, "Why do you ask?" He basically responds and tells me that his homies were messing around with the girl's Snapchat filter and found out that he was a pretty convincing girl with the added help of Photoshop. They all together made a profile and started matching with guys just to mess with them. But while he and I were messaging back and forth, he thought I seemed like a genuine guy and didn't want to mess with me anymore. He didn't want to break it to me over text as the girl to blow my confidence, and he wanted to apologize in person. I felt shocked, embarrassed, violated, and a lot of different emotions. I just didn't know how to react, so I just listened to him. I felt so incredibly stupid for falling for a catfish, but I couldn't be mad at him because I could tell he was just as nervous to talk to me as I was to talk to this fake girl I had fallen for. He was super genuine about his apology and just left afterwards. I ended up getting some food to go and deleted the app as I waited. I kinda low-key have trust issues now and I'm a little scared to use dating apps, but I'll get over it eventually. And before you go saying this story is fake, it unfortunately isn't. I made this throwaway account to tell a story a while back, but never did. I've been kinda working up the courage to spill it. I laugh and cringe thinking about it now, but just a PSA, remember to always get her Instagram because you can't fake a history of pictures unless you're insanely dedicated. Wow, poor dude. That's never happened to me. Okay, I'll take that back. There have been times where someone pretended to be a girl, however, it wasn't really a girl that I was really attracted to. Just someone, I was talking to casually and they're like, "Hi, I'm a trap, by the way." And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And so I just kind of don't talk to him anymore because, that's just weird. Not the fact that it's a dude dressed like a girl, because I don't care what you do. But just the whole deceptive nature of it all, I'm sure y'all can understand. But wow, that's sad. But you know what? The dude owned up to it and you gotta respect him for that because that took that took balls, unfortunately. Let me know in the comments below if anything similar has ever happened to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.